keep going. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. Always keep that fire, keep that passion awake, and always remember what's the purpose. What are you doing here? What is your potential impact? Why you're doing this for real? Keep that passion alive, and it's gonna be worth it at the end. Yeah, and keep going.
Hey everybody, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of the Inventive Journey. I'm your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups into 7 and 8 figure businesses, as well as the founder and CEO of Miller IP Law, where he helps startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. And if you ever need any help, feel free to just go to strategymeeting.com and grab some time with us to chat. Now, today we have another great guest on the podcast, David and Hojah. Is that how you say the last name, or
Yes.
close? All right. So, and David, since he was a kid, really liked to invent, create things, has always been curious. I think he mentioned one time he took apart a family television and couldn't quite get it all the way back together. And so was a good learning experience, but maybe not, parents not quite so happy. But then kind of after that, he had an uncle that had a spinal cord injury and an aunt that died from multiple sclerosis, and kind of is dealing with all that and kind of going through school and university and getting a mechanical engineering degree. Kind of came out with the idea of helping people and kind of focusing on that a bit, and so built a company around augmented reality or virtual reality to help people manage some medical issues, and then jumped a bit to where he's at currently with the business he's at with Fly Parrots. So with that much as an introduction, and we'll dive into, I'm sure, a lot more of what you're doing today as well. But welcome on the podcast, David.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
So maybe now, so I gave kind of that brief high level overview, but take us back in time a little bit more, kind of walk us through your journey, and let's start at the beginning.
Um, I mean, since I was a kid, I always liked to see and discover and learn from everything and create things, even from the story about the broken TV, or even my video games. I when I broke the video game or there's some electronics issue, I always like took it apart, and sometimes there's some minor issue, so I try to fix it by myself. I like to do that. So I always like to do and create and build things. In also in especially also in high school, I built a solar oven because also I like green energy. Then I thought, okay, how about we can make an oven just powered by solar energy, and I did that, and it was working a little bit slow, but it was totally green, which is awesome. And then
No,
and
let me ask this one question, just because jumping back to the television when you're a kid taking it apart.
Yeah,
Was it thought that you thought you'd be able to put it back together and you just wanted to see how it worked and that nobody would be the wiser? Or what was the thought when you started tearing into a television?
I mean, I did not at, at that age. I did not think honestly about how to put it back first. I was thinking, how does it work? That's the
Mm,
most important thing. How does it work? I want to see all the wires, all the lens or the screen, and everything's down
mm,
there. So then I like after okay, I got pretty much a better idea now. And then I tried
mm.
to put it back. Then okay, I couldn't. So yeah, but it's good, like, because the idea, the purpose, the passion for me at that point, I was like just to learn as much as I can.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So and now fast forwarding. So you did that. You did another or other things in high school. Kind of had that same figure out how it works, tinker with it, entrepreneur spirit type of a thing. So you get through high school and go to college, and I think you said you got a mechanical engineering degree. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, and also because my background from like my uncle who got a spinal cord injury, and also my aunt who passed away for because multiple sclerosis, like that, something in the background like keep telling me to for people with disability and to improve their quality of life, to do
Mm,
whatever I can. Since I have like really good skills with technology and with the engineering background, mechanical, but it's not just mechanical because I did many other things as well, like electronics, software, computer science, electric engineering. So it's pretty much when you're
mm,
engineering, basically you like to be multi disciplinary and try to learn pretty much everything from something from everything. So that's why I know a little bit software, hardware,
mm.
and many things. And even I took some courses in medical devices as well to see like, oh, how can I expand my skills and help people.
Mm. So now, and I think that makes first of all, it's admirable. Hey, let's choose something first of all that you're interesting, but also are interested in, but also that it gives you the ability to work on projects that will be able to get back or that you'll be excited about and be able to address real problems or real issues. I think certainly makes is a great path or a career path to set yourself on. So now, as you were wrapping up, college, you're wrapping up your degree. Where did you go to, or how did you what was the first step along your path of kind of utilizing that degree or doing something with it?
I worked actually with many startups when I was back in Boston. So many startups. I just jump into startups because I could learn a lot of things, especially if I'm working with small teams.
Mm,
And I work with many startups. I was focusing more on 3D printing and
mm,
drones, and even actually while I was working after college, I had an idea which is making a medical drone, which is
mm,
basically like a flying ambulance to provide medical supplement for any accidents or any emergency situations. So you can fly a drone, and it will be much faster than any ambulance, especially if you have car traffic or if you're in a big city. So sometimes and every second matters. Sometimes
mm,
you can save lives within seconds. So that's why the drone can be very helpful. I worked that
mm,
for quite a bit. It's still like between the engineering, mechanical, and also the medical background. And actually, I work with. I was visiting mass general hospitals with some doctors to get some advices, like, oh, how about if I add this, or what do you want? Because I can build the drone, the device, and everything, but like I don't know the medical need that much. So I had to work
mm,
and ask and be with the doctors and visit the emergency room sometimes and like check what they want, what they need.
mm. So so now you do that for a period of time, and if I remember when we chatted, so you kind of get into exploring a few different things. Get the work on the drones, kind of get that as a way to provide some assistance and help to it. And then I think you switched over to build a different company in augmented reality or virtual
Yeah.
reality. Is that right?
Yes. Another thing, which is actually something else, my sister had eczema when
Mm,
she was a kid. I did not actually think about it at that moment, but few years ago, I went to a conference at MIT about dermatology and eczema and chronic diseases. Like
mm,
they mentioned how people are suffering from skin diseases, especially children's. And then, at that moment, I just went back in time when I was a kid. Oh, my sister had eczema, and the skin disease is really horrible, and it's really
mm,
hard to manage that chronic disease. And then I came up with an idea, which is basically building a game using VR, AR, virtual reality, augmented reality, which is a very interactive game. So the kids can play with the games, while at the
mm,
same time we do all the image processing to help the parents, the caregivers to take care of their children, especially managing these chronic diseases take a lot of time and effort and money.
mm,
And we won, and then that's the start. And I worked with some entrepreneurs as well. We were four people in the
mm,
Boston area, and we worked for that quite a bit, and then
So one question, because you were, what made you decide, so you're working originally or doing your job and you're also doing the drones and kind of doing that. What made you decide to, for lack of a better word, switch or decide to jump into XMA and augmented and virtual reality? Was it, other business was difficult, lacking the ability to find a market fit? Was it, hey, interests have changed, markets change, or kind of what made you decide to make that initial jump and shift? Or did
I
you do
think
them all at the same time?
uh, it's a little bit overlapping, but at one point I had to decide, okay, I need to focus on this alone. So
Mm,
I always like, even nowadays, I sometimes like if I have some free time, I'll try just to check other things. I always like to keep my mind innovative and try different things.
mm,
When you reach a certain point, like, okay, now you need to decide which one is your main focus, and sometimes you have to say goodbye to the old one.
mm,
At that point, I was working with drone and 3D printing, but when I saw this about the building the game for kids for chronic diseases, okay, I thought it's gonna be better for me with my passion, with my interest, to
mm.
focus on that. So I stopped working with drones and other stuff to just focus on the ARVR game.
No, makes perfect sense. So now you do that, you work on that for a period of time. Now, where did that get to? Did it ever establish? And I guess let me back up. One question on that is, was this a kind of full-time gig? Was this what you're doing, your full-time endeavor, where you work in a full-time normal job, and this was a side hustle, or kind of how did those go together?
Yeah, that's the VR AR game was a full-time job, and
Mm,
we worked with many doctors, caregivers, especially with at the Boston Children's Hospital and Mass General Hospital. So, and but at the same time, I met another friend, and also a mentor,
mm,
uh, who was a great landscape designer. And then, but in 2006, he was diagnosed with ALS,
mm,
same like Stephen Hawking. And
mm,
then nowadays, he's living with ALS for 15 years now, and now he cannot move his body and even cannot talk. And that's um, inspired me, and also I remember the pain from my uncle, my aunt, and many other friends about this specific severe disabilities. And I
mm.
said, okay, I think it's time to jump and help those people. And because that it's a really big issue, especially, and I have great connections
Mm.
from family, friends, and also especially I am inspired by Stephen Hawking, personally and professionally.
Mm.
Especially during college, I got inspired by Stephen Hawking a lot. His mind, his career, professional life, and everything. I realized there are many people like Stephen Hawking out there. They're brilliant. They're amazing. They're just missing accessible technology to be the next Stephen Hawking, the next engineer, the next artist, the next doctor, writer, whatever they want to be. And I said, okay, I think that's the time to jump to this for real,
Mm.
and use all the passion, the skills that I have to help all of them. And then I started my company, which is Parrot.
So now one question on that. So because you had the company, it was your full-time gig that you were doing the augmented reality ARVR type stuff with the eczema, did you wind that company down? Did you run that in parallel? Did you sell it? Did you turn it over? Or kind of, if you already had the initial company, was it a pivot for that company? Or kind of how did you make that switch or that transition to the new endeavor?
Um, I started. I was kind of like working full time with a augmented reality company full
Mm,
time, and then at one point I started to just to play with the idea to help people with disability. Then at one point the company, the ARVR company, didn't work that well, and we tried to raise fund, but we did not get much funding, and I was really struggling to, okay, now I think I need to stop. Then we stopped, just because lack of funding. But the
Mm,
idea was great. So if we had some funding, maybe I'll
mm.
take it more to the next level. But we couldn't raise fund at that point. And
Okay.
also, still my experience also is still fresh as well.
Mm,
So we tried to talk to investor. I wasn't really good at talking to investor and building the business model. I was more technical person. Like I know to build things. Like I worked pretty much as a CTO role, but not much as a CEO. And I did not learn about how to convert your innovative idea to turn it to a big company and raise fund, and even asking for government grants and all kind of stuff. But
mm,
then I learned that through my journey. And
mm,
then when I started my company, Parrots, I already have the experience. I made a lot of mistakes. And actually, it's good to make mistakes. It's good to learn. It's good
mm,
to grow. Because sometimes, okay, how about if I talk to an investor like this way, maybe that's the other way. Maybe you're presenting a really not realistic financial projection.
mm,
Because as innovative, sometimes we go super optimistic. Oh, we're gonna have $2 million, or we have a very big, huge market opportunity. But in reality, the market opportunity, maybe it's smaller than what we are thinking. So sometimes it's not just having the great idea, but I need to turn that idea and
mm,
understanding the market, understanding how you can sell a product, how you put a price for your product, how to do market analysis,
mm,
market research, how to talk to users. I did that, so I learned a lot. Sometimes I was talking to customers or potential users too much. Maybe sometimes it's not just about asking them how what they need. Sometimes it's better to observe them and see what's the problem.
mm,
So I was through my journey, I learned that. So it's not just about focusing about solution. Oh, I can build things. Like, let's do it. Sometimes it's just to take a deep breath and like step down, a step back up, and look. Oh, what's the problem here? What is the problem? A lot of companies, they made amazing product, but they are not really solving big market needs or a huge problem. And that's a
mm.
lot of companies failed, or startups failed to raise fund or even to grow, or they had to close. So I learned that with a hard way or a good way.
No, and I think some of the lessons you learn are oftentimes the hard way, and but they're the lessons that are the most important to learn, and that sometimes the best way is the hard way. So now, as you are, you're looking at Parrot as it is today. Kind of, first of all, maybe give just a brief explanation as to what it is and where you guys are at, and kind of what the future looks like for it.
Yeah. Now Parrot, uh, we provide a solution to empower people with neurological disorders and their caregivers.
Mm,
We have two devices, two products right now. One is a hardware and a software, and the second one is completely a software.
mm,
And basically, we provide 5C, just to make it simple for everyone. So the first C, which is to help people with very severe condition for navigation. That's like the first C, which is control.
mm,
To have control of their surrounding and like have a drive their wheelchair indoor and outdoor safely. That's number one, the control. The second one, which is communication, which is actually the most important thing here, is communication, because a lot of them, they cannot speak, and they sometimes they use very slow technology. Sometimes they have to wait 10 to 20 minutes just to speak. Our devices can help them to speak within seconds.
mm,
So communication.
mm,
The third one, which is connectivity, connect them to smart home devices so they can play with everything with their eyes, for example, because that the fourth C, which is compatibility, which is our device is compatible with eye tracking, joystick, head mouse, and even now facial recognitions. So they can, based on their ability, some people they can move their hands so they can use a joystick. Some people they cannot move pretty much anything, but they can use their eyes. So that's why we use eye gaze technology. So based on their ability, we are pretty much compatible. And also different platform, whether it's Windows or Android, iOS, different platforms. The fifth one, which is about the caregivers. So also we
Well, maybe just so so kind of the consolidated answer, and just to maybe help to summarize it a bit. If I understand it, it's really looking at people that are needing. It's a platform that helps people, I think, or more specifically, kind of with different neurological disorders, in order to help them have a more meaningful and a helpful or a happy life. Is that a fair, shorter summary?
Yeah.
So now as you roll out Polly and you're looking, Parrot, which is has Meet Polly, which are on your platform, but you roll out Parrots. What is the next step for you? Kind of where do you guys see the future heading, or kind of how do you continue to build the product and introduce it to the public?
Yeah, we have been working right now with about 5 nursing home around the country, uh, with people with ALS, multiple sclerosis, some spinal cord injury, and cerebral palsy. We'll try to expand that to more customers, and also we are working to get our devices to be covered by insurance, and we have a big potential for that. And also, we started to talk with the VA. As you know, they have some people with brain injuries or even ALS, multiple sclerosis. So the veterans community is also one of the biggest milestone to reach nowadays, and we are looking for that. And we're going to be at the Veterans Healthcare Summit, I think in Texas, in a few months.
Well, cool. Sounds like a lot of exciting things going on, and a lot to a lot of things, or a lot of ways to grow the business. So, well, as we start to wrap up the podcast, and I always ask 2 questions at the end of each podcast, so maybe we'll jump to those now. So, first question I always ask is: so along your journey, what was the worst business decision you ever made, and what did you learn from it?
I think one of the worst mistakes in my journey, like jumping to the solutions without thinking about the real problem.
Mm,
So because as innovative, especially if you got a great skills with your hand, or with your software or whatever skills you have, so you like to build things. Oh, I build the coolest thing ever. But what's the problem are you solving here? Just because it's cool, or are you solving a real problem here? So I think I did that a few times, not just one time, to be honest with you. So I just I want to give an advice to all innovators, entrepreneurs out there. Make sure you're solving a real problem first, and understand that, and then think about the solution. Now you can build whatever you can do whatever pretty much with all the resources that we have, but make sure you're solving a real need here.
And I think that's a good, it's an easy, sometimes we get so enamored with, here's our device, here's our product, and we think it's so cool and it can do so many things. And sometimes the thing that we should be thinking about the most, but the thing we tend to overlook is, does it solve a problem? Is it something that people can use, that they'll pay for, and is there a market for it? Rather than just making a cool, or cool thing that is a great idea, but maybe nobody's willing to pay for, or not willing to pay what it costs to make. So I think that that's certainly a great, an easy mistake to make, and a great one to learn from. So as we jump now to the second question, which is, if you're now talking to someone that's just getting into a startup or a small business, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give them?
I think the journey of entrepreneurship is sometimes hard, and we have to accept that fact. But I will say, keep going. Never ever give up. Never ever give up. always keep that fire, keep that passion awake, and always remember what's the purpose. What are you doing here? What is your potential impact? Why you're doing this for real? Keep that passion alive, and it's gonna be worth it at the end. Yeah,
Mm.
and keep going.
No, and I think that, almost to quote the Winston Churchill of "never give up" type thing, never ever ever, and that's, whether or not you intended to quote it, but that's one of the great, I think one of the great quotes from him, and certainly
Yeah.
inspiring. But I think it's certainly a lesson to learn from is, there's or one of the biggest traits that separates a successful entrepreneur, a successful business or startup is the ability to, even when you're facing hard things, you're having to go through things that aren't as fun, or that you're having to deal with issues, is to figure out, never give up, figure out a way through it, and make it a success. And, that's, I think, a great trait, and one that everybody needs to have. Well, as we wrap up, if people want to connect up with you, they want to learn more about your platform, they want to be a customer, they want to be a client, they want to be an investor, they want to be an employee, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to connect up with you and find out more?
Yeah, you can check our website,
Mhm.
flyparrots.com. And also my email, david@flyparrots.com.
Well,
And
awesome.
I'm happy to
Oh,
connect with everyone.
Well, I definitely encourage everybody to connect up, find out more, check out flyparrots.com. And David, thank you for being a guest on the podcast. It's been a pleasure. Now, for all of you that are listeners, if you have your journey to tell and you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, feel free to go to inventiveguest.com and apply to be a guest. If you're a listener, also make sure to click subscribe so you get out notifications as all of our new episodes come out, and leave us a review so everybody else can find out about us as well. Last but not least, if you ever need help with a patent or trademark, just go to strategymeeting.com and grab some time with us at Miller IP Law. Thank you again, David, and good luck, or wish you even your next leg of your journey even better than the last.
Okay, thank you so much.